Alright guys, we have massive new info for Wuthering Waves with the recent drip marketing for ZANI confirming her as the 2.3 banner character. We now have the full kit details for ZANI, giving us a first look at what she's all about, and it's looking pretty insane. ZANI is now confirmed to be the 1-year anniversary headlining unit, and with all the massive hype around her, I'm sure they want to make her kit as strong as possible, and from the looks of it, in her drip marketing, she even has a second form. So let's check out ZANI's kit and her signature weapon details in this video. And also, if you guys want to be kept updated on everything WUWA, make sure to like and subscribe. Put those notifications on to be updated right away, 24/7, because this week is going to be pretty insane with all the new info coming out. But alright, let's get right into it. First off, they also confirmed her element and weapon on Twitter shortly after her drip marketing. So ZANI is going to be an upcoming 5-star SPECTRO character using gauntlets as her weapon, but we for sure know that she's going to be using a shield, possibly a sword and shield in her gameplay, which is going to be like her special weapon, but she's going to be holding gauntlets for her main weapon. But alright, let's get into the kit here. This is the most accurate translation that I could find about ZANI's kit. First off, starting with the basic attack. So ZANI's basic attack is perform up to 4 stages of consecutive attacks dealing spectral damage. After performing 3rd stage of the basic attack, during the QTE window, you can press basic attack like similar to Encore, which will release a breakthrough, which is a dash, a chain, allowing pressing basic attack to perform the 4th stage of basic attack. Now after the 3rd stage of the basic attack, if you do not follow up the 4th stage of the basic attack, then within a small period of time after dodging, you can still press basic attack to then perform the 4th stage of the basic attack. So this is just to say that once you do the 3rd stage of the basic attack, you can still wait a moment before doing the 4th attack. Alright, now for the resonant skill. Holding resonant skill, enter parry stance when releasing, deals spectral damage to the enemy. So she's gonna have a shield parry stance that is pretty interesting. Within a short period of time, pressing basic attack allows chaining into short form basic attack suppression, dealing spectral damage and slowing the enemies down, similar to Phoebe. So that was the standard guard plan. Now we have the advancing annihilation plan, part of the resonant skill. Before ZANI enters berserk state, it's called inferno, so that must be what her second form is called, the berserk state. And there's a gauge for it as well. Resonant skill guard plan changes into resonant skill advanced annihilation plan. Alright, so this second part here is the resonant skill for her second form. So let's see what it's all about. It seems like there's a lot more to it. So holding resonant skill enters preparation form. During preparation form, releasing resonant skill or after a certain amount of time has elapsed, consume all redundant kinetic energy, which is probably her Forte gauge, to release resonant skill and gather suppression, dealing spectral damage. And then if the damage is taken during the preparation form, she resists the crowd control and decreases damage taken. Consume all redundant kinetic energy to release resonant skill, break counter attack, dealing spectral damage, and at the same time freeze the enemy and decrease their stagger gauge by 5%. So far, ZANI already looking pretty interesting. With a counter gameplay, she can hold the resonant skill during her second form. She will take decreased damage and cannot be stunned or crowd controlled. And then she will freeze the enemy and decrease their stagger gauge by 5%. Looks pretty cool so far. Now moving over here, we have the resonant separation. Deals spectral damage and enters inferno state. Alright, so you use the ultimate to enter her second form, Infernal Light. Limit increase from 1 to 150. And immediately gain 50 Infernal Light, that must be her gauge. And then under Inferno state, basic attack multiplier increases. Yeah, I bet she's gonna do a lot more damage in this state. And now we have End of Judgment. During Infernal state, when Infernal Light is less than 30, unlock Resonant Separation End of Judgment. Performing End of Judgment deals spectral damage and exits Infernal state. So similar, probably similar to Carlotta. That's like a finishing ultimate when you use up all the gauge and then you deplete the gauge. You'll then do another animation called End of Judgment to do massive damage and exit the second form. So far, already looking pretty hype. I'm a fan of characters that go into second forms after the ultimates. But alright, now moving over to the Forte circuit, which is pretty long, so let's see what it's all about. So when ZANI is in the team, any team member applies Spectral Frazzle instantly calculate and deals the damage of all stacks, and apply the corresponding amount of Bright Sun's Ember. Every time the effect shift happens, ZANI gains a corresponding amount of Infernal Light. Bright Sun's Ember can be considered Spectral Frazzle in activating the set. Now for the Resonant skill, when she's in the second form, which is called Ignite Bright Light. When ZANI is in her Infernal state, unlock Heavy / Break of Dawn, Heavy / Morning Arrival, Heavy / Night End, dealing spectral damage. This damage is considered heavy attack damage as well as considered as Spectral Frazzle damage at the same time. So a lot of new attacks here. I'm sure we have all the details right below it. Moving on here, holding Resonant skill enters Preparation stance. When releasing during Preparation form, consume Infernal Light to perform Heavy / Break of Dawn. If damage is taken during the Preparation stance, immune to CC and decrease damage taken. So they're basically a better version of her Resonant skill that we just read earlier. She will also still freeze the enemy, and this time instead of 5%, she will decrease their staggered dodge by 10%. If a certain amount of time has elapsed after Preparation stance and it ends, releasing Heavy / Night's End. When releasing this, you consume up to 40 points of the Infernal Lights. For 1 point consumed, increase the damage multiplier of Heavy / Night's End. We don't have the multipliers yet, but I'm sure that'll come out pretty soon. If Infernal Light is more than 30 points, basic attack becomes Heavy / Break of Dawn. And then after releasing the Heavy / Break of Dawn, the basic attack becomes something new called Heavy / Morning Arrival. And after releasing this heavy attack Morning Arrival, the basic attack becomes Heavy / Night Ends. This can also consume up to 40 stacks, similar to what we saw before, so to increase the damage. And after successful dodge, if the basic attack hasn't been transformed to Heavy / Night's End, then within a short period of time, you then perform Heavy / Flash Destruction, which has a crazy name. And yeah, as we saw, she's a heavy attack reliant character, a lot of different combos and moves. I'm sure once we get the gameplay, this will be a lot clearer. And we still don't even have the multipliers yet, so it's really hard to say what her damage is going to be. But so far, in terms of gameplay and kit, this seems pretty insane. And yeah, the gauge here, Redundant Kinetic Energy, max 100 points, and we saw when she gets into the enhanced state, that goes up to 150. Gets points when hitting with basic attack, intro, resonant skill, guard counter attack. What I'm thinking is probably the guard and guard counter attack is going to give the most points, so that's going to be the most rewarding part about her. When she's in her base form, you will be able to guard, counter attack the enemy, and once you build up these points, you want to get into the infernal mode. And also here it says resonant skill, advancing annihilation, gives 10 points. Every spectral frazzle converted into bright sun embers gain 5 points. So that is for the Infernal Light, which is the gauge when she gets into her second form. But alright, not much left. We have the talents and her weapon. So the intro skill, increase spectral damage by 12%, lasts for 14 seconds. During Inferno state, damage taken decreased by 20%. So these are both talents. And then the signature weapon, crit damage 48%. Attribute damage bonus 12%, and when dealing damage to enemies with Spectral Frazzle, increase heavy attack damage bonus by 24%, 2 times stacks for a 8-second duration, and then the Resonance Aberration reduces spectral res of targets by 15%, lasting for 15 seconds. So that will provide a crazy amount of heavy attack damage. And then when you do the ultimate to get into that second form, you will also decrease the spectral res of the target by 15% for 15 seconds, which will add a lot more damage to her second form. So yeah guys, just a quick breakdown of the ZANI kit details. I believe we don't have the accurate details for the mindscapes, but the mindscapes always changes, so that's not a big of an issue that we don't have that info right now. But so far, let me know down below, what do you think of ZANI? Pretty insane stuff. ZANI is possibly one of the hypest characters in the game, and as expected, she might bring some huge power creep with it. But yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think, and that is pretty much all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.